was a $20 bet. In this day and age, as a society, we mourn the death of family values. I was blessed beyond description to have been raised by two incredible people who really embodied those values, who taught me the meaning of what it is to be a moral, upright, conscientious, and considerate man. And they have stood behind me, literally, figuratively, from the moment I boarded a bus to go drive off to Fort Lost in the Woods and join the Army until today, and they're here. Every time I talk to them on the phone, almost every week for the last 20 years, I couldn't hang up the phone without hearing, "Keep plugging away, kiddo." Without the constant support and guidance of my parents, Tina and Kurt, there's no way I could have gotten to where I am today. Thank you both for everything. Mom, I have good news. I'm going to make it through this entire speech without embarrassing you. Never mind. Over the years, I've had many supervisors, many leaders, and I think we can all agree that your very first squad leader is the one who makes the strongest impression on you out of all of them, for better or worse. And hopefully you're blessed with a squad leader who cares to make a difference in your life. And that can be the crucial part of your career, the make it or break it point. I was a brand new wide-eyed PFC. Just barely figured out that the Army, of which I was now a part, bore no relation whatsoever to what the recruiter told me. And was nowhere nearly as comfortable as sitting in a warm classroom at DLI. I'd been in Korea for about a month. My squad was being temporarily led by a specialist because the squad leader was on mid-tour leave, and all I could get out of this specialist was, "Wow, he's a real hard case." So the squad went to the field with the company. The other two new men and I were sharing that squad tent on top of the hill. And at that point, I hadn't met my wife yet, and none of us were very neat with our gear. After a week of living in the field, it didn't look too good in there. It looked like a surplus store where a bomb went off. And the first words Sergeant Scott Anders ever spoke to me were, "Privates, that tent looks like crap." Actually, it was a stronger word than that, but Mom and my wife are here. But even in that simple declaration, that make it or break it moment, everything I needed to know about being an NCO and a leader was communicated. Scott was clearly delineating his authority by addressing us as privates. He was letting us know that there was a standard. In this case, it was a high standard, or even just a simple standard. Pick up your stuff, but we had failed to achieve it. And the fact that he made it his first order of business upon returning to the unit from his nice, comfortable home in the United States to tell us that we hadn't met that standard spoke of his desire for excellence and his care for soldiers. In the months and years to come, I find out a lot more about what being an NCO, being a leader, being a man really meant. But a lot of it is at the feet of a great NCO, a great leader, a great man, a great mentor, a great friend. Scott, thanks for your leadership that guided me on this path. It made a difference, and the tent's a lot cleaner today. I also owe my thanks to the fine officers, NCOs, and soldiers of the BSTB who made this possible today. First and foremost, Sergeant Mal Kaiser, who's just, it wouldn't have happened today. Colonel Smith, Sergeant Major Montoya, thanks for trusting me with what I did in the S3 shop, and I think it's all still there. It's not broken. My company commanders, Captain Bell, Captain Davis, Captain Omar, my first sergeants, First Sergeant Dobson, First Sergeant Fox, Sergeant Dufresne, thank you for the narration, Specialist Langlois, Specialist Wetzel, the Alpha Company Flag Detail, thank you very much. It was very well executed. All the paratroopers of Bravo Company and HHC for your assistance in making today possible, both in the paperwork sense and in the physical sense. It's been an honor serving with each and every one of you, and I may not be continuing forward with you in the physical sense, but my thoughts and prayers go with each of you as you continue to do great things for this battalion, for the Army, and for the nation, and I hope to meet you again in calmer times. There's a lot of people here today that I just, it's rough sometimes. You have rough times when you have to turn to friends. You have to turn to comrades and not give up. And not not let yourself get down in doubt, self-pity, self-esteem problems, whatever. You got to keep driving on. Bravo Company, the S3 shop, two specific people I want to mention, Justin and Walter, not just brothers in arms, but brothers in Christ. Thank you all for being there. Each one of you in this room, whether you know it or not, has taught me something, brought me something, and it's been an honor. Those of you who know me well or have been in my presence for about 30 seconds, more or less, know I'm not shy about lending advice or sharing opinions. And I'm not going to disappoint. Bad news. But there is good news. It's twofold. Not only might this be beneficial to somebody sitting here, so I can't go without saying it, but after today, you can get on with your lives, and I probably won't interrupt you again. Anyway, here goes. So, by my count, I've been in about a dozen different units, some of them multiple times, scores of officers, hundreds of non-commissioned officers, and who knows how many soldiers and other military members. So, I think I've seen what works and what doesn't, but it's my studied opinion that sometimes what works gets tinkered with and improved until it breaks and stops working, but at that some point somebody's going to take pride in it, clutch it to their chest, and institutionalize it, and later on you'll hear these words, well, we've always done it that way. And those who work with me know that's my least favorite phrase. I challenge you here today to be the person who says, if you've always done it that way, you've always been wrong. Then implement a fix. Don't just complain, fix it. If all that's necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing, I would submit that likewise a bad unit is the result of smart people doing nothing. Making your unit better is a thankless task, but it doesn't bring you admiration. Unwanted attention, sure, but not admiration. It'll make your life much more difficult. You'll come home late at night to a wife who's barely seen you, but sometimes it's just the right thing to do. Every one of you, every soldier can be a leader. I was the most unlikely leader of men ever to pin on the stripes of a sergeant. I never thought of myself as a leader. I was not born a leader. But men like Scott trained me to be one through their good example. I don't think every soldier will be a leader, but every soldier can be a leader. Not every person will make a soldier, but they can. Don't let it be for your lack of trying, people. If that person cannot soldier, it better be their fault and not their sergeant's fault. Ever. I vividly remember the tight-knit brotherhood of junior NCOs that taught me values from the first day, taught me how to be a leader by example. One that always stuck with me was on a field problem where we were all tired and hungry, and finally we got resupplied. It had been about 2 days since we'd had some good MREs. Good MREs, and so I was first in line, and I reached into that box, and one of my peers grabbed my arm and pointed to a specialist, not a sergeant, a specialist, standing out there on security. And he said, until your last man eats, you don't eat. That's what a leader is. It's first into danger, last into safety and comfort. That's what a leader is. Insisting on the standard, even if it's unpopular, makes you feel uncomfortable to enforce it. That's what a leader is. Making sure every last man in your unit, whether it's squad, platoon, company, battalion, brigade, or family, is taken care of the best way you can provide. It's not weakness. It's not being soft. It's not coddling. It's caring. And good leaders care. A unit is a weapon, plain and simple. It's got moving parts, lots of them. And everyone has to do its job. Your soldiers, your equipment, your training, your capabilities. The sergeant's job is and always has been to place that weapon in the commander's hand. And that commander should know in his heart that that weapon will fire, it will have maximum effect. Every time. Sergeants, never hand your commander a weapon that's dirty or unmaintained, or worst of all, unloaded. I've often told people two truths about caring for soldiers. And the first is that leadership pays forward. The caring and concerned leadership you show today will mold soldiers into leaders who accomplish their missions, care for their soldiers. And the two don't have to be exclusive. And so it should continue. The second is that leadership pays back. Because if you are an effective leader, you never have to worry about looking good or being taken care of. It'll just happen without you needing to ask. Your soldiers will do it for you, both consciously and unconsciously. I actually caught soldiers in my last unit asking each other in a difficult situation, what would Sergeant Parrott do? What better testimony could I have had? They will make sure the mission is accomplished. They'll take care of each other and you as well. In closing, just like to thank you all again for joining me on this special day. I'm going to cherish these memories of my brothers and sisters in arms and the times we shared, good and bad, all the rest of my days. See you on the drum zone. Airborne hopefully.
Ladies and gentlemen, in appreciation for his contribution to the Army and its mission, the men and women of the United States Army are proud to serve with Sergeant First Class Parrott and ensure him that he will always be a valuable member of the Army family, even in retirement. We wish Sergeant First Class Parrott and Mrs. Parrott every success in their future endeavors.
The soldiers scream, I'm an American soldier. I'm a warrior and a member of the team. Serve the people of the United States and live the Army values. I will always place the mission first.
I will never accept defeat. I will never quit. I will never leave a fallen comrade. I am disciplined, physically and mentally tough, trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills. I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I am an expert and I'm a professional. I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I'm a guardian of freedom and an American way of life. I am an American soldier.
At this time, we will play the Youth Strike March and the Army Song. Please remain standing for the departure of the official party.
Conquer the mountains and the valleys. We train in the winter's bitter cold. Alaska soldiers are the warriors, centuries of the north. So pick up your weapons and your snowshoes. We're ready to fight and to defend. The finest soldiers are the warriors from the last frontier. First to fight for the right and to build a nation's might, and the Army was rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the Army was rolling along. And it's high, high, hey, the Army's on its way. Count off the cadence loud and strong. For wherever we go, you always know that the Army goes rolling along.
This concludes today's ceremony. We invite everyone to join us in congratulating the Parrott family at the rear of the room. Thank you for attending, as we wish you a pleasant afternoon and safe travels.